You're listening to Soap Dirt, the latest in television entertainment news.
Hey, Bold fans, I've got your early weekly spoilers. And next week, you're going to see in the spoilers for July 29th through August 2nd, Katie digging, Poppy panicking, and a huge guest star and a giant recast. It is Belinda from Soap Dirt, and as always on Early Spoilers Day, we start with what's coming the rest of this week with fresh new spoilers in the mix to give you context for the action next week. And we have got some hot new spoilers, by the way, for the rest of this week. So we're going to dive right in with the action coming Wednesday, July 24th. Steffi is furious to learn that Brooke is going to be the main model of the Brooke bedroom relaunch. And guess what? It is too late for her to do anything about it, for her to slow Ridge's roll, because they are relaunching in Monaco next week. This is a conversation with her father that Steffi's not going to like one bit, fresh off her getting the horrible news that not only is Sheila not being arrested by the LAPD, she's home, she's a free woman, and Finn actually thinks his bio mom is innocent. Steffi's taken punches left and right this week. She is just hard hit. And speaking of accusations and unhappy people, Poppy is not loving having to deal with Katie. Katie is now calling into question the legitimacy of the paternity test that Luna took, and she has no problems fighting it out with Poppy. Meanwhile, Bill Spencer asks a favor of Lee Finnegan. It's a personal favor. I'm wondering if he is going to ask her to rerun the paternity test at the hospital, like with an official test and an official capacity, maybe to quash Katie's doubts. However, I think Lee had a hand in tampering with those tests. I am more convinced every day that Bill is not Luna's dad. We'll see in the long run. It's not that I don't want him to be. It's just I don't believe it. I do want it to be, but I don't think it's going to happen. So we'll see. And if Lee does run the test, I don't think we can trust those results either. Thursday, July 25th, Katie is determined to find out what is in Poppy's past, and that does not bode well for either of these ladies. After the showdown with Katie, either on Wednesday or Thursday, I'm not sure the date of this spoiler, Poppy reassures a very worried Luna that there is nothing that is going to tear their family apart. She guarantees her she will make sure nothing happens. Well, that sounds pretty ominous, doesn't it? And Steffi lets some past emotional wounds come up while she's talking to Ridge. She's very unhappy that, Brooke is in a position of power, and now Brooke is the face of the relaunched bedroom line. And basically, she's bringing up all these past personal things like Brooke breaking up their family. And also, she thought that the fashion summit in Monaco trip was going to be this father-daughter outing. And now Brooke is along there too. Steffi's feeling very sidelined, very frustrated, very unheard in the conversation at work. Meanwhile, Brooke and Hope simply think that Steffi is trying to restart the Forrester-Logan feud. In some ways, I think she is, but I think she feels like she's very justified in it. That's up for discussion. And before we jump into the action on Friday, July 26, 2024, please click subscribe if you're not following us already. So the Brooke's bedroom relaunch begins with a big old photo shoot on Friday. Brooke is front and center in lingerie, bras, panties, garter belts, stockings. She is looking fabulous. I have to say, maybe they're going to start a new trend. It's great. Poppy is so upset when Katie persists, and Katie starts questioning her about Tom Starr and their past. Whoa, where does that come from? And boy, is Poppy not going to like that. And by the end of this week, there is a huge, nasty showdown between Hope and Steffy. And there's a couple of scenes from the promo that as of Tuesday's episode, we still haven't seen. So somewhere in Wednesday through Friday, we're going to see Deacon talk talking to Justin Barber and Bill Spencer, and he's wondering if somebody made it look like an overdose, but in reality it was murder. Clearly it was murder. Okay. And Hope is gleeful after Brooke tells her she's going to be the face and body of the bedroom line. And now let's talk about what's happening July 29th through August 2nd, when we've got trouble with Katie, trouble with Poppy, guest stars, and a recast. All right. We're going to start with the huge guest star. I got air quotes around huge. It's Tom Arnold, from the 80s and 90s. Talk about a relevant, really happening current celebrity. Roseanne's ex-husband, and all that. Anyway, he is on playing the brand new Forrester pilot. His character's name is Deuce Stevens. It sounds very airplane, doesn't it? Anyway, Steffy heads to the airport, very unhappy that Brooke is along with them. And Ridge is there. Of course, they're all ready to go to Monaco. And Steffy is about to get a lot more unhappy next week. So in Monaco is where they're doing a relaunch of Brooke's bedroom at this fashion summit, but it looks like Steffy doesn't have her passport. She is tearing through her bags, can't find it. Meanwhile, she's throwing, lingerie and lacy stuff around, and Deuce is pawing through some of her lacy things. So it looks like Steffy may actually miss the shindig because she can't find her passport. Katherine Kelly Lang's Instagram was full of this Europe trip, which took place in early July. And Jackie Wood's was not. There was a gap in hers, so either she was there and it was on the down low, but I don't think it was, because I also saw the red carpet and interviews and things. So I think Steffy may have to stay behind in LA. So Tom Arnold is on Tuesday and Wednesday, July 30th through the 31st, with one Logan and two Forresters that may turn into just one Forrester. And then on Thursday, August 1st is the big recast. We have a new face in LA. Crew Morrow makes his debut as the new Will Spencer. Katie mentioned Will and her concerns about him and this new alleged sister and how she raised her son in the house when she was arguing with Poppy. Crew, if he looks familiar to you, with good reason, he's the lookalike son of Y&R hunk Joshua Morrow, who has played Nick Newman for 30 years. And if you look back to when Josh first came to Y&R, Crew is the spit of him. He is a good-looking kid, and you can tell he's going to be quite a good-looking man in years to come. So Will's mom, Katie, may be in danger next week, just like Tom and Hollis, and for the same reason, because she's not going to let up on Poppy. Steffy simmers as Brooke takes center stage, and also because Sheila's free, and also because Hope is irritating her at every turn. And at this point, Hope is doing it deliberately. Deacon is so relieved that Sheila is at home and not facing charges, but he wants to find the real killer, not only to get justice for his friends, but also to make sure that Mrs. Sheila Sharp stays at home with him where she belongs. Sheila is desperate to prove her innocence, and the real killer may have his or her eye on a new victim and steps up their efforts to frame Sheila more convincingly so they can get away with 2 kills, maybe 3. And look for more of Finn dodging Hope as she is continuing with her unrequited crush on him. And he also has to deal with Steffy's growing frustrations. Thanks so much for tuning in. Those are all the early weekly spoilers. Please click subscribe. Thanks so much.
Thank you for being a loyal listener. Follow us wherever you get your podcast, because you don't want to miss the next episode. Soap Dirt is on all the major podcast platforms, including Apple Podcast, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and more.